Hey guys, I'm T and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I make trendy and fun crochet tutorials twice a week, and if you haven't already, smash that like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to join in on the fun. For today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make a modern 3/4 sleeve top using the Basketweave stitch. It's comfy, easy to make, and highly customizable for your perfect fit. Speaking of, by now y'all already know the drill, but just in case you're new. Modern crochet tutorials and patterns made for you are here with even more dropping twice weekly, so consider clicking the bell to subscribe and you'll never miss an upload. Also, do me a huge favor and give this video a big thumbs up if you like it, or 2 thumbs down if you don't. Either way, it's a great way to show support so I can keep putting out free tutorials every Wednesday and Sunday. Now, it's time to get on the show, so without further ado. For this project, any category 4 yarn will work, but I used a total of 465 grams of yarn. That's 835 yards if you're stateside. As for tools, a 5.5mm hook, scissors, stitch markers, and a tape measure. There is a written pattern down below. Use offer code TCDDIY for a discount off any $9.99 plus order, and enter this week's pattern giveaway by telling us a snack that you haven't had in a really long time, but you're craving it. I actually haven't had corn nuts since like middle school, and they used to be one of my favorite snacks. I really liked the ranch flavor. Details for the giveaway down below. We're using 4 stitches for this project, and they'll be as follows. Chain, slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet. This tutorial is made for a size small. You can adjust it for your size, and we explain how to in the video, so let's get started. Getting this top started, we're all going to grab our category 4 yarn and make a slip knot. Then we're all going to grab our 5.5mm hook and start off by making a chain that is in multiples of 6 that reaches from the top of our shoulder down to our underbust, so roughly where an underwire would lay. Now I need roughly 11.5 inches or 29 centimeters, so I'm going to start by making a chain 42. So now that we have our chain, we're all going to add 1 additional chain. It does need to be in multiples of 6 plus 1. So now I have a total of 43 chains. Now for our row 1, we're all going to do a half double crochet row. So block off that last chain and do a chain 2. Now that chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch, that's our turning chain. Then from here, yarn over. Into that chain that we blocked off, or the 3rd chain from our hook, bring your hook down, into that chain, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3. That is our first half double crochet. Again, yarn over, following chain, pull through 3, and continue with 1 half double crochet into every chain. We are back and our first row is completed. Now let's all get started on our row 2, so chain 2 and flip. When it comes to doing our basket weave stitches, it is going to alternate between 3 post stitches, and we're all going to start with 3 front post double crochets. So right after that chain 2, we're all going to yarn over once. Finding the second half double crochet from our row 1, we want to make sure that we're not working into the body of that first stitch because we want our edges to be nice and clean. We're going to bring our hook down underneath the body of that second half double crochet from our previous row and through the other side. Then yarn over and pull through. When we have these 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That is our first front post double crochet. Let's do 2 more. Yarn over, underneath the body of that following stitch from our previous row, we're going to bring our hook down, underneath and through the other side, pull through. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We should have 2 front posts now. Let's do a 3rd. Yarn over, bring our hook down, underneath the body of that following, through the other side, pull through. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now everyone should have 3 front post double crochets. Now we're going to do 3 back posts. Now we're going to yarn over, bring our hook down, underneath our work, and up in through that next gap, then over the body of that following half double crochet and through the other side. Yarn over, pull through to get 3 loops on our hook, Then again, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that is 1 back post double crochet. Let's do 2 more. Yarn over, bring our hook down and underneath our work. Finding that next gap, we're going to bring our hook through that gap, over the body of that following half double crochet and through the other side. From here, yarn over, pull through to get 3 loops on our hook, then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That is our second back post double crochet. Let's do 1 more. Yarn over, bring our hook underneath our work, up through that next gap, over the body of that following half double and through the other gap. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So far, for our row 2, we should all have a total of 6 stitches, which is 3 front post, 3 back post. From here, we're going to continue to repeat 3 front post, 3 back post double crochets to reach the end of the row. Let's just do the next set of stitches together once more, a little bit quicker. Yarning over once, underneath the body of that following half double crochet from our previous row, bring our hook underneath, through the other side, pull through 2, pull through 2. Underneath the following, pull through 2, pull through 2. Then 1 more, underneath that following, pull through 2, pull through 2. That is our 3 front post. Now to do our 3 back post, yarn over, underneath our work, up through that gap, over that following body, through the other side, pull through 2, pull through 2. That is our first back post. Again, yarn over, underneath, through the other side, pull through 2, pull through 2, and once more, yarn over, underneath our work, through the other side, pull through 2, pull through 2. From here, continue to alternate between 3 front post doubles and 3 back post doubles until we reach the end of the row. We have just made our way all the way down with our row 2. Our last post stitch should have been worked into the last actual stitch from our previous row. Now, to make sure that we have, 1, the same amount of stitches as our previous row, and the edge of our basket weave detail is secured down, we're just going to put 1 half double crochet into the top of that chain 2 from our previous row. And now our row 2 is complete. So let's get started on our row 3, so chain 2 and flip. Now when it comes to doing any odd number row for our basket weave detail, we are just going to extend our previous row stitches. So what I mean is once we chain 2 and flipped our work, the first set of stitches look like 3 front post double crochets, so we're now going to do 3 front post double crochets as well to extend it. So yarn over once. Finding the first post stitch from our previous row, making sure that we're not working into the edge of that half double crochet because we want the edges to be nice and blunt. We're going to insert our hook underneath the body of that first stitch with 1 front post double, underneath that following with a second front post double, then also underneath that following with another front post double. Now that we have our 3 front post doubles, the next set of stitches that we have look like 3 back post doubles, so we're going to be doing 3 back post. So yarn over, bring our hook down, underneath that following stitch with 1 back post double, underneath the following with another back post double, and 1 more because we have 1 more back post double, and also because they're worked in sets of 3. And from here, all we're going to do is continue to repeat 3 front post, 3 back post, making sure that we are extending our previous row stitches until we reach the end of the row. Then I'll meet you back. We've just made our way down with our row 3. Now we do want to make sure, just like our previous row, that we're putting 1 half double crochet into the top of the chain 2 from our previous row, so that we 1, have the same amount of stitches as our previous row, and 2, so that the edge of the row is nice and secure. Now once we have that last half double crochet, we're going to chain 2 and flip to get started on our row 4. Now when it comes to doing any even number row for our basket weave detail, we're now going to be doing the opposite from what our stitches look like. So after we flipped our work, our first 3 stitches look like 3 front post, so now we're going to be doing 3 back posts. So yarn over once, making sure we're not working into the edge of our previous row, only working into the first post stitch. We're going to bring our hook down, over through the other side with our first back post double crochet. And we're still worked in sets of 3, so here is my second back post double, and then also my third back post double crochet. Once we have our 3 back posts, we're going to do 3 front posts because our falling stitches look like 3 back posts. So yarn over. This is my first front post double. This is my second, and this is my third. From here, we're going to continue to do the opposite from what our previous row stitches look like, making our way all the way down. Now, make sure that we're closing off the row with just 1 half double crochet into the edge of the row, then I'll meet you back. Our row 4 is now complete. We did make sure that we did our half double crochet into the top of the chain 2 from our previous row, but now that that's completed, we're going to get started on our row 5, so chain 2 and flip. Now, just like I said for our previous odd number row, every odd number row is just going to extend our previous row stitches. So once we flipped our work, the first set of stitches that we have looks like 3 back post doubles. So we're going to do 3 back post doubles. Now once we have our 3 back post doubles, the next set of stitches that we have look like 3 front posts. So now we're going to do 3 front posts. And that is it. We're going to continue to extend our previous row stitches, making our way to the end of the row, making sure we close off the row with just 1 half double crochet into the top of that chain 2, then I'll meet you back. We have just completed our first 5 rows. Now what we're going to do from here is continue to repeat rows 2 through 5. All of these links will be linked in the description, by the way, until we have a portion that can reach from mid underarm all the way over to mid collarbone. We want to make sure that it's ending on mid collarbone because we would like to have a wider neckline. Then I will meet everyone back right after we have rows that is in multiples of 4 plus 1. Now the additional 1 row is going to be just from that first half double crochet row that we obviously have to count because it is the first row, but it is still a 4 row repeat. Go ahead and get this portion completed, then I'll meet you back. We are back and my shoulder is complete. I have a total of 9 rows. This width is just about 4 inches or 10 centimeters. Now from here, we're going to do our neckline. So what we're all going to want to do is put this piece up, making sure that the top of the shoulder is at the top of our shoulder. Then counting from the bottom, we're going to insert our stitch marker into any stitch that is in multiples of 6 plus 1 for the depth of the neckline that we would like. Now from the bottom is going to be where our hook is. I inserted my stitch marker into the 25th stitch. Now the height that I have from the top of my shoulder down to my stitch marker is just about 5.5 inches or 14 centimeters. Now, since we all should have ended right after our 4 row repeat, we're just going to continue to do our 4 row repeat. So just to talk you guys through the following row, we're going to chain 2, flip our work. The following row is going to be an even number row for everyone. So we're going to chain 2, flip our work. Do the opposite from what our previous row stitches look like. So for me, that's going to be 3 front post doubles, 3 back post doubles, all the way down until we reach our stitch marker stitch. Then I'll meet you back. We've made our way all the way down with our neckline row. Now we're going to half double crochet into that stitch marker stitch just to secure everything down. So yarn over, into that stitch marker stitch, insert, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3. Now our first neckline row is completed. Just to talk you through the following row, chain 2 and flip. Now we are going to extend our previous row stitches. So since my first set of stitches look like 3 front posts, I will be doing 3 front posts and continue to extend our previous row stitches until we reach the end of the row, making sure that we're closing off the row with 1 half double crochet. Our second neckline row is complete. Now to get started on the third, chain 2 and flip. We're now going to do the opposite from what our previous row stitches look like. So for me, since my first set of stitches look like 3 front posts, I will do 3 back posts. My next set of stitches look like 3 back posts, so then I will do 3 front posts until I reach the end of the row, closing off the row with 1 half double crochet into the top of the chain 2. Our third neckline row is complete. Now we're going to chain 2 and flip. Now we're going to extend our previous row stitches. So my first set of stitches look like 3 back posts, so I'll be doing 3 back posts. My following set looks like 3 front posts, so then I'll do 3 front posts. Continue to extend our previous row stitches till we reach the end of the row, closing off the row with 1 half double crochet. Our fourth neckline row is complete. From here, it is going to be a repeat of these 4 previous rows, working our way across our chest until we reach mid-collarbone on the other side. Then I will meet everyone back right after an even numbered row. Then we can get started on the shoulder portion together from there. So we are back. I have just completed the width of my neckline. Now I have a total of 26 rows. This width is just about 11 inches or 28 centimeters unstretched, and we all should have ended right after an even number row, so that should have been along the top. Now what we're going to do from here is make a chain, as you guys can see, for the same amount of stitches that we skipped when we got started on our neckline. So counting from my first available stitch here all the way to the end, I have a total of 18 stitches. So on this side, I made a chain 18. Now from here, we're going to half double crochet into every chain. Start by blocking off that last chain and do a chain 2. That chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch, that's our turning chain. From here, yarn over and into the chain that we blocked off with the third chain from our hook. Insert with 1 half double crochet. Then continue with 1 half double crochet, making our way all the way down our chain. Then I'll meet you back once we reach the body. So we are back. We have just made our way all the way down with our half double crochets. Now from here, we're going to work straight into our post stitches. So just to show you guys, at the end of our previous row, we should have all had a half double crochet, which is per usual. But now working our way down to make sure that we don't have any additional stitches, we're going to skip that half double crochet and just work straight into the post stitch. Now since this row is an odd number row, we are again extending our previous row stitches. So since my first set of stitches look like 3 front post, I will be doing 3 front post. If yours look like 3 back, y'all will be doing 3 back. So just to do the first one, yarn over. This is my first front post. So underneath that post, remember we're skipping over that edge half double crochet stitch with 1 front post double. There's my second, and there's my third. And remember from here, just continue to extend our previous row stitches until we reach the end of the row. And don't forget to close off the row with 1 half double crochet into the top of that chain 2. Now our first shoulder row is completed. Now just to double check, the total amount of stitches that we should have, including that last half double crochet into the top of that chain 2, should be the same amount of stitches as chains that we made when we got started on our first shoulder portion. So for me, I have a total of 43 stitches. Now we're just going to do our following rows per usual. So just to talk you guys through them, we're going to chain 2 and flip. Now working our way up towards the shoulder, it is going to be an even number row. So now we're going to do the opposite from what our previous row stitches look like. My first set of stitches look like 3 front post, so I will be doing 3 back post. My next set of stitches look like 3 back post, so then I'll be doing 3 front post. Continue to do the opposite from what our previous row stitches look like until we're worked into our last set of stitches right here. Then I'll meet you back to work into the half double crochets. So we've just made our way up with our basket weave stitches. Now we're going to work into the half double crochets. So we're just going to continue on with the same set of stitches. So as you guys can see, my last set of stitches look like 3 front post. So my next set of stitches is going to be 3 back post into the half double crochets, then 3 front post also into the half double crochets to reach the end of the row. So just to do the first set of stitches, yarn over, underneath that first half double crochet, pull through 2, pull through 2. That is my first back post double crochets, but if you guys are doing front post, that's fine as well. This is my second back post double crochet. And here's my third back post double crochet. Continue to alternate between 3 front post, 3 back post to reach the end of the row, and we are still closing off the row with just 1 half double crochet into the top of that chain 2. Our second shoulder row is now complete. Now just to talk you guys through the following row, chain 2 and flip your work. Since we are working our way down towards the bottom, which is an odd number row, we're now going to extend our previous row stitches. So taking a look at the first set of stitches from our previous row, mine looks like 3 back posts. So I will be doing 3 back post double crochets. Then for my next set of stitches, 3 front posts because it looks like 3 front posts. Now if yours are reversed, go ahead and just extend your previous row stitches to reach the end of the row, closing off the row with 1 half double crochet. So we are back and our first 3 shoulder rows are complete. From here, we're just going to continue to do our 4-row repeat with no increases, no decreases until we have the same amount of rows as our first shoulder portion. Once we do a chain up of 1 and cut, then I'll meet you back to get started on the back. Alright, so we are back. We have just completed our second shoulder portion. We now have a total of 14 inches or 36 centimeters unstretched. Now, once when this front panel is completed, we're going to do a chain up of 1 and cut. Then we're going to get started on the back panel, which is going to be done pretty much the same way as the front panel, minus the neck hole cutout. So to get started on the back panel, as you can see, I already have mine completed, but just to talk you guys through it, we're going to start by making the same total amount of chains that we did for the front panel. So for those of you that have my numbers, 43 chains. Then we're going to do our first half double crochet row. Then our basket weave rows, the same exact way that we did rows 1 through 5. Then once we have that, we're just going to continue to repeat rows 2 through 5 until we have the same amount of total rows as the front panel. Once we do a chain up of 1 and cut, then I'll meet you back so we can seam it all together. So we are back. Both our front and our back panel are completed. Now from here, we're going to place our front panel on top of our back, insert our hook into the top corner stitch of both the front and the back panel, then seam up our shoulders. So we're going to pull through and do a chain up of 1 to secure. Working our way in through both the front and the back panel at the same time, we're going to put 2 single crochets into every side row. So this is my first side row within the front panel. I'm going to find that top loop, insert. Find that same top loop within the back panel, insert with 1 single crochet. Now that our first single crochet is completed, a second single crochet into the same side row. So into the first side row, same side row within the back. It should be a little bit easier since everything is already gathered for us. And single crochet. Again, into that next side row within the front panel, next side row within the back panel, single crochet, then 1 more single crochet into the same top loops within the front and the back, and single crochet. Continue doing this until we don't have any more side rows left to work into. When we don't, do a chain up of 1 and cut, and repeat on the other side. So we are back, and now that we have just completed seaming up our shoulder, we're now going to seam up our side. So first things first, we're going to make sure that our work is still flipped wrong side out, meaning the seam that we did for the shoulder is still along the outside. Then we're going to insert our stitch marker into any stitch that is in multiples of 3 from the top for the width that we'd like for the armhole to be. Now I'd like for mine to be just about 7 inches or 18 centimeters, so I insert my stitch marker into the 27th stitch. Then we're going to insert our hook into the bottom corner stitch of both the front and the back panel. Then all we're going to do is pull through and do a chain up of 1 to secure. Now we're going to start by finding that first stitch into the front panel, insert, next stitch into the back panel, insert, and single crochet around everything. Once more, next stitch into the front panel, insert, next stitch into the back panel, insert, and single crochet, making our way all the way up until we reach our stitch marker. Once we do a chain up of 1 and cut, then repeat on the other side. So now that everything is all seamed up, the next we're going to do is make a chain the length that we'd like for the sleeve to be, so making sure that our work is flipped right side out, right side up. We're going to make a chain that is in multiples of 6 for the length that we'd like for the sleeve to be. Now you can make this as long or as short as you'd like. I'd like for mine to be about a 3/4 length sleeve. So I'm going to start by making a chain 30, and that's just about 8 inches or 20 centimeters for me. So now that we have our chain, we're going to block off that last chain and do an additional chain 1, just like how I did for the length of the body. Now we're going to do a half double crochet row, so block off that last chain, chain 2, and yarn over, and into that chain that we blocked off, or the third chain from our hook, we're going to insert with 1 half double crochet and continue with 1 half double crochet into every chain. So we are back. We have made our way down with our first half double crochet row. Now we're going to connect it into the base. So how we're going to do that is start by counting up the next 2 available stitches. So there's 1, there's 2. Into that second stitch into the base, we're going to insert with a slip stitch. Now that slip stitch into the base doesn't actually count as a stitch, that's just to connect. Then to work our way up to the following row, we're going to slip stitch into that following stitch into the base. Still does not count as a stitch, and flip our work. Now we're going to do our basket weave detail all the way down. So pretty much the same as the body portion. So just to talk you guys through it, because it is a smidge different since we're connecting the edges into the base, we're going to yarn over. We are going to be skipping that first available half double crochet. Then underneath the body of that following, we're going to start with our first front post double, and we're still working in sets of 3. So here's my second front post double. Here's my third front post double. Then 3 back post doubles. We're going to continue to alternate between 3 front posts and 3 back posts, making our way all the way down. And at the end of the row, we are going to make sure that we're putting 1 half double crochet into the top of that chain 2. We should end up with the same amount of stitches as chains that we made. Then I'll meet you guys back. We've just completed our second row. Now to get started on our third, we're all going to chain 2 and flip our work. And now from here, just like how we did for the body, we're going to extend our previous row stitches. So since my first set of stitches look like 3 front posts, I will be doing 3 front posts. And since we're along the outer edge, we do want to make sure that we're skipping that half double crochet. We're only working into the previous row's post stitches. Then from here, just continue to extend our previous row stitches, making our way all the way down. Our first 3 rows are completed. We are going to put 1 half double crochet into the top of the last stitch from our previous row. So all we're going to do is yarn over into that last stitch, insert with 1 half double crochet, and now we're going to connect it into the base. So we're going to count up the next 2 available stitches. There's 1, there's 2. Into that second stitch, into the base, insert with a slip stitch. Remember that that slip stitch doesn't actually count as a stitch. Now, to work our way up to the following row, we're going to slip stitch up that following stitch into the base. Still doesn't count as a stitch, and flip our work. And since this is an even number row, we're going to be doing the opposite from what our previous row stitches look like. So my first set of stitches look like 3 front posts, so I'm going to yarn over and do 3 back posts, but we do want to make sure that we're not working into that edge half double crochet, just like how we normally would not. Continue to do the opposite from what our previous row stitches to reach the end of the row, making sure we're closing off the row with just 1 half double crochet into the top of that chain 2. Our first 4 rows are completed. Now just to do our 5th, we're going to chain 2 and flip our work. And since it is an odd number row, we're just going to extend our previous row stitches. So I'm going to start with 3 back post double crochets and continue to extend our previous row stitches to reach the end of the row. We are back and our first 5 rows are completed. Now we do want to make sure that we did close off the rows, just 1 half double crochet into the top of that last stitch, just to make sure we have the same amount of stitches every row. But all we're going to do from here is continue to repeat rows 2 through 5. We're just going to make our way all the way up and around our armhole. When we don't have any more stitches left to work into, I'll meet you back so we can seam it together. So we are back. We have just completed making our way all the way around with our sleeve. Now from here, we're going to seam it up, but this seam is actually going to be done exactly the same way as our side seam, so I'm just going to talk you guys through it. We're all going to start by making sure the work is flipped wrong side out so that when it's worn, all of our seams are along the inside. Then what we're going to do is do our same exact single crochet seam until we don't have any more stitches left to work into. When we don't, do a chain up 1 and cut. That'll meet everyone back so we can get started on the cuff. So we are back. We have just completed seaming up our sleeve. Now we're going to get started on our cuff. So first things first, we're going to make sure that our work is flipped right side out now, meaning all of our seams are now along the inside. Then we're just going to insert our hook into any one of the siders that we have along the edge of our sleeve. We're going to chain 1. Then we're going to be putting 1 single crochet into every side row. So starting with our first side row right here, we're going to insert into that top loop and insert with just 1 single crochet. Into our following side row, insert into that top loop with 1 single crochet again. And that's it. This should give us a really nice cinch, so go ahead and make our way all the way around with 1 single crochet into every side row. So we are back, and now that we have just completed single crocheting along the entirety of the edge of our sleeve, we're now going to slip stitch it into that chain space, then make a chain the length that we'd like for the cuff to be. I'd like for my cuff to be roughly 2 inches or 5 centimeters, so I'm going to start by making a chain 10. So now that we have our chain, we're all going to do a slip stitch row. So start by blocking off that last chain and do a chain 1. That chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch, that's our turning chain. Then into that chain that we blocked off, or the second chain from our hook, we're going to insert, yarn over, and gently pull through everything on our hook. Now that is our first slip stitch. Let's do that again. Into that following chain, we're going to insert, yarn over, and pull through everything, and continue with 1 slip stitch into every chain. And we do want to make sure that we're not tugging through too tightly, otherwise the following row will be too tight to work into. So we've just made our way down with our first slip stitch row. Now we're going to connect it into the base. So just finding that next available stitch into the base, we're going to insert with a slip stitch. Now that slip stitch doesn't actually count as a stitch, that's just to connect. Then to work our way up to the following row, we are going to slip stitch up that following stitch into the base, flip our work, and now put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch. So insert your hook into that last stitch from our previous row, making sure we're not working into any of those slip stitches into the base. We're going to insert into that back loop only, yarn over, and pull through everything on our hook. Again, next stitch is back loop, yarn over, pull through everything, and continue with 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch. Then at the end of the row, we're all going to chain 1, flip our work, and put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch again. Then I'll meet you back at the end of our row 3. So we have just completed our first 3 rows for our cuff. Now we're going to connect it into the base again, and it will be done the same way as our previous row. So into that next available stitch into the base, insert with a slip stitch. Remember that slip stitch doesn't actually count as a stitch. Then to work our way up to the following row, slip stitch up that following stitch into the base, flip our work, and put 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch. From here, we're just going to continue to repeat our 2 previous rows with no increases, no decreases, making our way all the way around. When we don't have any more stitches left, I'll meet everyone back so we can seam it up. We have just made our way all the way around with our back loop slip stitch rows. We don't have any more stitches left to work into, so now we're going to seam it up, and the way we're going to seam it is going to be an outside loop slip stitch seam. So start by inserting our hook into the corner stitches of both the front and the back panel. Then yarn over and pull through everything on our hook to secure and do a chain up of 1. And to do our outside loop slip stitch seam, we're going to find that first stitch into the front panel, insert only in through that front loop, first stitch into the back panel, insert only into that back loop, yarn over, pull through everything on our hook. Let's do this once more. Next stitch into the front panel, insert only into that front loop, next stitch into the back panel, insert only into that back loop, yarn over, pull through everything on our hook, and that's it. Continue with 1 back loop slip stitch into every stitch. When we don't have any more, do a chain up of 1 and cut, then repeat everything we did here on the other side. So now that we have just completed both of our sleeves and cuffs, now we're going to get started on the bottom band. So first things first, we're going to make sure that our work is still flipped right side out. We're going to insert our hook into any one of the side rows that we have along the bottom of our piece. Then we're going to single crochet all the way around, putting 2 single crochets into every side row. So we're going to pull through and do a chain up of 1 to secure. And just to do the first 2 side rows, this is my first one right here, we're going to find that top loop, insert with 2 single crochets. So there's 1, same top loop with a second. This is basically the same way that we did our shoulder seam. Next side row, there's 1, and then there's 2, and that's it. We're going to continue on with 2 single crochets into every side row, making our way all the way around. Once we made our way around, slip stitch into that chain space, then I'll meet you back. But just as a really quick tip, this single crochet row is going to be as wide as this portion can stretch, so once when it's completed, try your piece on. If it's a little too tight, reduce some stitches with a looser grip, or if it's too loose, reduce some stitches with a tighter grip. Then I'll meet you back. So we are back, and our single crochet row is completed. We have just slip stitched into that chain space, and now from here, we're going to do the same exact back loop slip stitch rows that we did for our cuff. So just start by making a chain the length that we'd like for the bottom band to be. I'd like for mine to be just about 3 inches or 8 centimeters. So I'm going to start by making a chain 15. Then I'm just going to do my back loop slip stitch rows. No increases, no decreases, make my way all the way around. Well, we don't have any more stitches left to work into. I'll meet you back so we can seam it up. We have just made our way all the way around with our back loop slip stitch bottom band. Now we're going to seam it, and this seam is going to be done exactly the same way as our cuffs. So just to talk you through it, making sure that our work is flipped right side out, right side up, do our same outside loop slip stitch seam till we don't have any more stitches left to work into. When we don't, do a chain up of 1 and cut. So we are back. Our bottom band is completed. Now the last thing we're going to do is our collar. So what we're going to do is start by making sure that our work is still flipped right side out, right side up, and do a single crochet row. So insert your hook into any one of the stitches that we have within our neckline, and all we're going to do is 1 single crochet into every stitch, 2 single crochet into every side row. Now we should already know how to do this portion, so go ahead and get this following single crochet row completed, and I'll meet you back. We have just completed our single crochet row along our neckline, and now from here we're going to do more back loop slip stitch rows. So right after we've slip stitched into that chain space, we're all going to make a chain the length that we'd like for the collar to be. I'd like for mine to be just about 1 inch or 2 centimeters, so I'm going to start by making chain 5, then do my same exact back loop slip stitch rows, no increases, no decreases, making my way all the way around. Then I'll meet you back to seam it up. We have just made our way all the way around with our back loop slip stitch collar. Now we're going to seam it up together, same way that we did the cuffs and the bottom band. So just make sure the work is flipped right side out, right side up. Do our same outside loop slip stitch seam till we don't have any more stitches left to work into. Then we are all done. The last thing we have to do is simply weave in all of our ends. And there you have it, y'all. Hope you enjoy the tutorial. Join us on Instagram, Pinterest, or Twitter. Those links are down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Catch you on the next one. Bye.